Joe here from ActionX, and welcome to What's in the Two, where today we're back. It's been almost 3 years, not entirely 3 years, but 2.5 years. Okay, let's say 2.5 years. Perry Mason is back on the case. It's been a long wait, everyone. It's been a long wait. Season 2, well, actually, no, Season 1 wasn't even Season 1. It was just a limited series. It was supposed to be 8 episodes and done, but the show did very well, and here we are. They got a second season. It took a long while, though, to come back for Season 2. It took a very long while, to say the least. And honestly, I kept forgetting, like, every year, like, oh, is Perry Mason Season 2 out this year? No. And it's an HBO Max show, an HBO show, so I'm not surprised, like, you know, HBO represents one of the top quality networks that puts a majority of the time top quality shows. And those shows take time to develop. They take time to, like, you know, really get to the brass knuckle. At times they kind of rival movie making because of just the quality of the material and everything. So for me, I kept forgetting, like, yeah, Season 2 is going to be a while away. The fact that it's 2023, the first season came out 2020. Keep in mind, for more context, it was the beginning of the pandemic when that show came out last time around. And here we are, so many years removed. Finally here, Season 2. I'm very excited to do another 8 episodes with y'all. It's been a while. I forgot what the hell if I was wearing an outfit at all during Season 1. I don't think I was, so I'm just here in my usual attire. We're here for the next 8 Mondays, reviewing the second season. And hopefully we're going to have a great time with this like we did with Season 1. So immediately out of the gate, like, I completely forgot about everything about Season 1. I didn't forget everything, but, like, remembering the brass details and everything, like, it took a while for me to remember. As well as I was in tune to, like, what the heck was going on behind the scenes and, like, what kind of, you know, news they were breaking and everything with, like, you know, because Season 2 has a whole new creative team behind it. So all the original members from Season 1 are gone. So it's all new. It's all a new writing team taking over Season 2. And so far, to get finally into it with Season 2, I'm intrigued. I'm hooked into it. Definitely, it is a much more of a slower pace. This episode definitely was built about getting back into Perry's world. I want to say maybe like a year and some change after the events of Season 1. So it's been some time. It's not an immediate jump into the future. I want to say it's like at least bare minimum 6 months post. And yeah, so we're kind of like picking up these characters after Season 1. We're like, yeah, again, Season 1 was never meant to, like, really set up a Season 2. It was just very much meant to get the ball rolling of, like, what this universe could look like with, like, their own origin story for Perry Mason. This is kind of like being like, what happens after that? Like, what happens after the origin? You know, how do we is he again? I still have no context of the original series. Like, I know my dad has watched the original show, and he says it's just a lawyer show. That's about it. That's all he tells me about it. So I don't know what the context is of, like, is this Perry Mason meant to be the Perry Mason we see in the old serials, or is it just like they're just doing their own thing? And so far, yeah, they're just doing their own thing, and they're just adding more complexities, and this definitely feels like more or less like I was thinking going into Season 2 that I thought this was going to be more like a, you know, kind of like a standalone follow-up where, like, you don't really need to watch Season 1. Like, if you're a new fan and you're just jumping in, you don't need to watch Season 1. For me personally, I do think you need to understand parts of Season 1 to understand where the characters are in Season 2, but, like, most or less, like, a lot of the things, like, besides Perry himself, most of the storylines that we're seeing are, like, are believably understandable within the context of, like, yeah, I just am viewing these characters for the first time here and now. But honestly, like, you know, for me, I think this is a great opener. I think this is a good way for newcomers to come in, and I can't wait to see what the next 7 chapters have in store for us as we begin another new mystery, and how does, you know, this time differ from the last. So with that being said, let's go through the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Perry Mason. It's been a while since I said those names. It has been. So we begin on a boat. Well, after a pretty lengthy recap of Season 1. So, like, that was very thankful to give me a little bit of, like, a breath air of reminder of, like, what the heck was going on. So we begin. We're on a boat somewhere in the sea. or the ocean. I really don't know. I think it's on the West Coast, the Pacific Ocean. So we see a bunch of people going on. This is like a big old party. You got like food, you got drinks, you got waiters, servers, everything under the sun. And then we follow this one server who's just like, just got a path. He's gold pathing it. He's just heading through the back, heads to the kitchen, goes to his locker, picks up a bag. And I'm like, dude, you're on a boat. Where the fuck are you gonna go? Like, there's nowhere to go. But he goes downstairs into the bowels of the boat with no one watching. Takes out a glass of alcohol, well, a bottle of alcohol, lights fire it. Starts Mavotas, I think that's not Mavotas. It's the fire. It's like the explosive thing that you make when you like put alcohol, when you put fire into an alcohol bottle, because the alcohol is combustible. He throws it into a laundry hamper and it starts, spreading the fire. He quickly escapes from the boat, jumps down before, the fire kind of extinguishes. It takes over the entire boat and everything. And I'm like, is that the mystery? Is that like, what happened to the boat full of people that got burned? Like, is that the mystery? The only thing that really is, how do I say this? The only thing that really is like the most important piece here is, or at least the most like, like the big iconic shot with this opening scene is that we pull out and we see the escape boat going back to the shore, a bunch of other boats going to the burning boat to go help the other civilians that are trapped there. And we see a guy holding like this like moon-like token and just, or coin, I forgot what it was. And he flips it over. That's where we get like the old-fashioned Perry Mason, just white text, old like, style of like, how title screens used to be back in the day. I really like that. And then we got the present day where we meet the milkman. Actually, I'm kidding. It's just a milkman. He's making his usual rounds in an apartment complex. One of them is now owned by Perry Mason because, again, from season 1, he sold the farm away to his pilot girlfriend. Well, not really girlfriend, more like, fling, sex buddy, whatever you want to call it, so to speak. So yeah, he's living in an apartment now, kind of, relaxing, kind of like now semi-independent. He's been a lawyer for quite some time now. And yeah, he's living that single man life, not caring. No, I'm kidding. But like, his apartment, I think he's just like freshly moved in here because his boxes still yet to be unpacked and everything. He's getting ready with his usual day. He has a moped now, and he rides all the way to work. Still same building, still same text font, but when he opens for the front door, he finds a completely different new assistant. I'm like, oh wait, did they get rid of Della? Did I forget to read that? I don't know. Is this a new assistant? Because Della has self-promoted herself to being, I guess, I forgot what the terminology is. I think it's, I should know these terms. But I don't. But mainly she's like serving as Perry's right-hand woman in this case, like just helping him out really with the cases instead of like trying to double load between being the assistant and trying to like actually help out with the cases. Now it's like, well, between selling off everything EB owns, selling your farm, and actually getting some clients that are actually paying us, we have enough money to pay off all of EB's debts that he had last season, as well as, actually have enough to have at least this month's rent figured out, as well as have a decent salary for the new system, which I'm like, I'm sorry to say the least, but I'm like, bro, like Perry was like strictly like, we do not have the money. And I'm like, this is the one part I always get scared when it comes to business, understands like, how do you have the money to pay for yourself? Like, what is instrumental for you to like, hey, this is a decent salary for myself, who's also the owner of this company or this law firm. Like, it goes to semantics, and it also is questionable there, but beside that, Perry says, fine, we'll keep the new assistant. YOLO. So they're going through, they're doing like, right now, just a will, I forget what it's called. A will contract right now. They're making a will right now for someone. And, that's kind of like another one of those, like, as a lawyer, that's one of the easiest things you could do is literally just figure out the will. That's basically, you get paid pretty much easily for that. And that's kind of a good source of income for them, being still like, they're still, despite the big case last season, like, at the end, it's still like, there's still a new law firm. Like, it's not EB's law firm again. It's like a new law firm. So, they still have to like get their bearings a little bit. Perry's answering the mail and he finds a letter from Strickland, his former partner from last season. Well, they're still working with each other, but it's like, it's not really like a tight partnership anymore. It's only like whenever he needs him, sort of thing. He gets a letter from him and he hides it in his pocket while he goes look for the rest of the mail. I want to say we cut to a country club where this rich guy, I forgot his name. I was trying to remember his name for the longest time for this episode. It's a rich dude. It starts with a B. I know that. I apologize. He just finished sleeping. He just finished having sex, very kinky said, with someone from the hotel. And, you know, they're going for the usual, like, you know, affair type ordeal. It's like, hey, I'm going to leave out of the room first. Give me like 5 minutes and you can leave. And he goes downstairs, and he turns out to be the owner of this country club. His sons are there, his wife is there, and I'm like, oof, dude, you really do not want to be like trying to sleep with someone that's literally in the exact same building as your wife. But, you know, regardless of what may be, he's having fun, but he gets called over away by his father, the real moneymaker of the family, kind of berating him about, like, you know, like, oh, I heard about the boat yesterday. Very coincident that you burned a boat in the middle of water on a clear sky with like multiple witnesses seeing an escape boat. And honestly, I'm like, okay, first of all, like, okay, that wasn't the mystery. Second of all, like, yeah, this guy's a fucking stupid guy. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you literally like got away with it so easily, and it's like, yeah, your people were witnessed by so many witnesses. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, you know, the boat. I don't know whether it was an insurance thing or whatsoever. Like, there was a reason why they did that. It turns out, like, yeah, so the father's like the real, like the real patriarch of the family. He's the one making like the real money, and his son is kind of like, you know, trying to like make his own career, make his own legacy with his dad's money. The big thing he's working on is starting up a baseball team for LA, specifically for California. And his father's like, no, it's a bad idea. You've already invested way too much money into this. I don't care about the sponsors and everything. You don't have permission to make this baseball team. Hell, you spend millions of dollars building a baseball stadium without a freaking plan to make money. So, sorry to say the least, is that's not really going to work out. So he wants him to shut down, stop operations, kind of like relegate himself to the background and just focus on being a dad. And the guy's like, sure. But he's really like, no, not going to happen. We cut open to, I want to say that night where Perry's sleeping. Yeah, I want to say, yeah, Perry's sleeping. He has this, he hears something in the kitchen, and he finds a very corpse-like woman, you know, drowning and, like, you know, in water and everything. So I'm confused. Like, is this supposed to be one of the sinking victims from the, well, it didn't seem like the boat went underwater. So I'm like, is that really the case? I really don't know. And Perry's having a nightmare about it. But yeah, like I said, it's a nightmare. So he wakes up and he finds himself back in his couch. He had just read the letter that Strickland left, which sadly says the least that the woman that he was defending last season, which I forgot the name. It's, I forgot, but I apologize. But yeah, so she committed suicide, sadly, because she just had enough of life, and she's been tormented. Despite she was kind of acquitted, you know, despite everything that happened, she still lost her husband, she lost her son, she lost her life. And, you know, secondly is that, you know, she just didn't know what to do next. She didn't really know. And, you know, the other point of maybe, like, she's been writing to Perry so many times about, like, you know, what does she do now? Like, what is the next thing? Like, was the victory really all that what we really needed? And I'm like, yeah, that actually is a pretty good question. Because, like, yeah, they saved their lives. She didn't go to prison or anything or got, like, you know, sentenced to death. But, like, at least she lived. At least she survived. Like, you know. But what happens after that? Because, like, you got to face the reality of, like, she saved her life, but her son's still dead. She doesn't have her life anymore. Like, her entire family's just gone. So, yeah, I felt bad for her. So I'm like, yeah, I was curious, like, how does the mental status ring on a person? Especially since she's been jumping around town to town for, like, months now. Like, I'm not surprised that it went into her head, and, like, not having a decent support system definitely probably would have affected her a little bit. And, yeah, so I'm guessing Perry's still hung up with the fact that, yeah, his first big win, and the person he was defending sadly took her own life, which is, like, you know, something that, like, even though he's not responsible for it, it wasn't his fault, but it still very much is going to ring over his head a little bit. So he goes out for a night cycle, but he's distracted by, you know, the death and everything. So he falls over, knocks into a little hill, and then, yeah, he gets his legs scuffed up a little bit before he has a big case the next day between a grocery market versus another grocery market. And who is the grocery owner played by? It's Mr. Sean Ashton, aka the guy from he was in The Hobbit, he was in The Goonies, he was in Stranger Things too. the man has been like popping in at very weird intervals in my life. So I'm very happy he's getting work. I'm very happy he's still getting some work done. He's still making some money, even though that Stranger Things is, well, over. But I mean, Stranger Things 2 have been out for like, when did Stranger Things 2 came out? 2017? Yeah, 2017. Yeah, so it's been some while, some change, but yeah, so it's been, I don't know why I'm comparing Spanx, but it was so weird. Like, is that Sean? Like, I didn't really know at first. I thought that was like someone else, but like, it really looks like Sean. I went online, like, no, that's Sean. I'm like, yeah, damn, like the man's still working. I'm very happy for that. So yeah, so mainly the case is Sean Ashton's character, Sonny something, I'm gonna call him Sonny, owns a market, and he had a worker there who had like actually made some pretty integral systems that helped with the sales of the store, and eventually Sonny did not give proper credit where credit is due to the employee, so the employee quit, started his own market chain, and yeah, that was basically about it. Like, you know, that's all said and done, and then now he's suing Sonny for, oh no, Sonny's suing him for copyright infringement for like copying almost exactly, but mostly copying the system that this guy set up as, and you know that's kind of like the whole back and forth a little bit. It's not like a big case, but like the guy's just proving like, yeah, I made this entire system for Sonny, and he never gave me the credit or respect or any cut of like the increased profits, you know, since then. And so me starting my own business was the only way to actually, you know, allow myself to get properly paid. Perry's argument was that, well, you were paid as a Sonny employee to assist Sonny, not just working as a cashier or a stocker or whatever his position may have been, but like to help him out. Like, you know, you're here to help the business, to keep the business running, and you did help the business, and you got paid in your hourly rate. You should have known that. And that's the one thing my dad always tells me is that never go above your workload. If you are getting paid for this exact amount of tea, don't go over it. Don't do something extra because you're not getting paid for that. That's not part of your workload. Sometimes if you want to be nice, go ahead, but you're not allowed to be mad and saying like, oh, I did all this extra things for you. Where's my pay? Like, no, you did that without, you know, being justified. Like, I may not get paid. And now all of a sudden, like, you think you can get paid? And hell, even Perry, like, destroyed his credibility by saying that, tell me about your store. Tell me about the specifics of your store. And it's like, well, this is located here, and this is located here, this is located here. And he's like, well, it's exactly the same as Sonny's store. He's like, well, yeah, but like it's general marketing, like that's the general layout of every supermarket. It's like, not really, no, bro. I've worked in a supermarket for over 3 years, and I've been to a lot of other supermarkets. It's not always the same. Everyone has their own different styles, so don't use that excuse on us. Eventually, Elster Perry manages to bring out a smoking gun with a picture of his office that has a couple of binders that say Sonny's Market Management Guide in his building. So yeah, that's pretty much like an open and shut case. But however, even though they kind of already like won out the long shot, you know, Della kind of like berates Perry a little bit because Della did all the work the night before, doing all the research to do like a logistical approach to take him down, and all Perry did was like kind of like shoehorn him into a corner, which again, Perry has won. They didn't win. They need the money. Like, you know, they definitely need the money. They're not making any big clients right now, so they definitely need this sort of money. But however, Perry was caught bleeding for his leg because his leg injury was kind of a little bit more severe than we thought. So Perry cannot attend this other meeting that they had for another prospective client. So Della's going to go in his stead and kind of try to woo her over herself, while Perry has another matter to attend to. Attending a birthday party, because it's been 3 years, so give me a break. I'm still trying to remember the names, but the officer that helped Perry last season, who's now just a private worker now, he's having a birthday party. He's kind of relocated to his brother-in-law's place because he and his wife cannot afford anything anymore, because being a private investigator, being a private worker means that there's no consistent paycheck. Like, sometimes you will have a lot of work and sometimes you won't have a lot of work. And you know, he's kind of had a little bit of a falling out with Perry, since Perry hasn't like promised him much work in recent months, and that kind of affected the financial hardship for his family. Even on his birthday, he didn't want to invite Perry, but his wife did. So Perry shows up, apologizes, you know, very sincerely, like, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have any work for you because we're not doing criminal cases right now. Like, yeah, the grocery case, which you did last month, was appreciated, but yeah, that was like me stretching the barrel. Like, that was not really like a guarantee, like you were going to get paid every day type of ordeal. This was more like, yeah, I can get you this one-time thing. I mean, kudos to Perry. Like, Perry may seem like a shrug person, but he does generally care about people. He does generally care, especially him. Like, that he wants to get a pay. Even he was about to slide over some money, like, kind of help him out a little bit. And he's like, no, I don't need it. Like, I don't need your handout. Like, I'm going to earn my worth. I'm going to earn my pay. And, like, if you're going to give it to me, I don't accept it, which I do respect. So we come back a little later where, like, the party's over. They're going to, like, just winding down a little bit, like, now that all the celebrations are done. He gets a visit. The PI. I'm gonna call him the PI until I remember his damn name. I'm sorry. He's also Lucius Fox from Gotham, from what I remember too. He gets a knock on the door. It's Perry's ex-partner. Perry's ex-partner's there. And I'm sorry if I'm forgetting names. I really am. He played a cop in a show I watched. And he's there because he's here to deliver him work that he has. Perry reached out and said, "Hey, do you have any work for him to do in the meantime? While my cases are like not really the most criminal of activity." He's like, "Sure, I got something for him." He's just mainly kind of like a PI of sort, like trying to figure out, because there's a Mongol, like a luxurious owner of hotels that is being rumored to be targeted for assassination, and he wants him to try and figure out who wants him dead, who wants him, taken out of the picture. So he's kind of being hired to, like, kind of scope out the people around, see if he can find anyone that would have any beef with him, and he accepts the job because, like, money is money in this world. Like, you got to get paid somehow. Oh, so I'm sorry if I'm drinking tea constantly. My throat is being used a lot today. Where do we pick up from there? Yeah, so we cut over then to Perry and Della. Actually, no, wait, we forgot about Della's part. So Della was meeting with a prospect for client. Kind of a boring case, but, like, again, they need money. So Della backs out for a little bit to kind of, like, take a little breather and try to reanalyze how she's going to, like, lure this in. Another woman enters in and kind of, like, like, they have a little bit of a spark going, a little bit of an attraction going, like, say, what's up, like, I noticed you're having a little bit of difficulty with that woman out there. And she's like, yeah, it's this work-related thing, we need her money, and I'm trying to land the ship out right. And she's like, I got an idea, like, maybe, like, trying to, like, win her over, try to, like, smooth that over. But Della doesn't agree. She's like, I'll do this on my own, don't worry about it. And then the woman, like, switches it over to, like, as a flirtatious way of, like, trying to ask her on a date going dancing right now. But she's like, no, I'm with someone technically, so I can't really partake. But she's like, that's fine, totally fine. But, like, if anything, give me a call. So, like, she gives her business card and everything, which kind of makes Della, like, a little bit like it's like the passion, like the thrill or something like that. But we do cut back over to Perry and Della going back to Sonny's Market, who is in the middle of recording a commercial and everything. Well, an infomercial. They didn't have TV back then, but maybe they did. I really don't know. But he's filming an infomercial, and Perry manages to, like, say, yeah, this case is mostly in the back. Like, we're about to get an acceptance deal, and the payout's gonna be $5,000. He's like, and no, like, he messed with my business. I want full recompense. I want a full payout of the $50,000. And Barry's like, well, the man's barely making any money. Even $5,000, like, stretching it a lot. He's like, I don't care. Like, I want fighters to win this fight. I want a full victory. You are not giving me that. Do I have to hire another pair of lawyers to go get this job for me? Which I might do. The cases are real. What are you going to try to do? Like, what are you really trying to do? But Perry, knowing that they need the money, it says, okay, we will go back and get what you deserve. So we cut to the next day, where, yes, the judge rules in favor of Sonny, i.e. Perry Mason, and sadly the other guy has to now pay $50,000 out of it. Even his lawyer is trying to plead, like, please. He's got a family. He's got kids. Like, his business barely makes $500 a month, like, in profit. So I'm like, there's no way. It actually just makes $500, period. Like, not even no return investment. Like, how is he going to pay a $50,000 debt to Sonny on top of that, of just surviving the business? And Perry and Sonny make a side deal of, like, saying, like, you know what? Forget the money. I want his business. I want that to be Sonny's second location. And that works. So they win the case, but Perry's, like, very much felt disgusted with himself. So again, this is not exactly the reason why he became a lawyer. He wanted to actually help people. This is not really helping people. This is just for them to just stay in business, to go actually help the next set of people that actually really do need help. Meanwhile, across town, the rich dude, the rich son, he's up in their family soup kitchen, announcing that, yeah, we're going to build 5 more soup kitchens because we care about LA, and also that a baseball team is coming. We are going to make this town great. I know I'm sounding like a certain person right now, but shut up. But however, his dad's like, did you nail down the deal yet before you announced all that? And he's like, I told you, Dad, I got this, which I'm like, that's a sign word for like, no, I didn't, but I'm hoping to God that it works out. So we cut to later that night where after a little fun session, playing around with his kids, he goes off to meet up with his attorney and I guess someone that's representing the commissioner for the baseball, for the I guess it's the MLB or whatever version of it was back then. And they're not really moving the ball. And they're like, they don't believe anything beyond the Mississippi coast is going to make a difference with baseball. So they're not really seeing the investment to start up a league in California, especially the fact like it's not even just, obviously they're thinking about the tourist rate, about trying we will make money off this. There is money to be made here, but it's like, well, also you're expecting like teams that are all the way in the East Coast to come and play here, which again, I know that's not how it works, but back then I'm assuming like with the startup of baseball, like that's kind of how it had to be. So basically it's leading to a flat no for now. They will try and like make another attempt to woo them over, but it's a long shot and he's obviously pretty disappointed about it. Like again, he's trying to impress his father. He's trying to show his father, I can do something with our family name. I can do something on my own. You just got to give me a chance. But however, as a little cliffhanger, at least on his point for now, he hears a gun clock in front of him, but we don't get to see who the assailant is. Yeah, which I'm like, that's the mystery we need. That it is. We cut over to that night where, watching that night, the PI's over at the hotel with his wife and kid trying to play like an alibi for him to be there, trying to get some photos of the guy in question. Also, again, it's pretty cute to see this, see him do his own thing. Again, also his baby's really cute. It's a really cute baby. So the picture session goes well. Even later at night when he's developing them, he thanks his wife for getting him this job. Maybe you contacted Perry was exactly what we need right now because we would not have this job right now that I'm doing. So hopefully that is a blessing in disguise. Della is back at home, kind of resting, kind of on her lures, figuring out what is next. She's getting a little angsty between night school and work and everything, so she decides to give the lady that she met at the powder room a call, and they're starting to flirt a little bit, starting a little bit like a flirtatious vibe, so to speak. Meanwhile, Perry goes back to the office, starts drinking some more, because again, he basically ran a guy out of business. He destroyed his entire family, all because of the sake of trying to make money. So Perry feels disgusted by himself. He drives back over to his old family house, which has now been turned to a bar by the pilot, who welcomes him back. And he's like, okay, you know what, bartender, give him our finest shot on the house. And, again, it's been months, and, I'm pretty sure Perry's still a little grabbed with the fact she actually got her way. She got the house like she wanted. But yeah, the fact that she decided to keep it where it's staying, which again is still a nice sentiment. She didn't basically destroy the house. She still kept the house standing. She just turned it into a bar, which is turning really well. And she's like, yeah, just let it be right now. And Perry's expressing how the fact this is not exactly what he wanted to do in life. That doing this entire thing is not what it's cracked up to be. And I think she's offering him to why don't we just go away together, just start a brand new life. I'm like, is this what you're gonna get? You were tormenting the man last season, trying to get his house, and now you're saying, oh, let's go away together. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But we cut to the next morning, where it's a new morning. Kids are playing in the beach. They go. A girl goes over to the yellow car that was owned by the rich son. She looks inside. The guy's dead, point blank in the face, into the eye. He's dead. And that's where we kick off the mystery for season 2 of Perry Mason. Who killed the rich son? And that was it for this week's episode of Perry Mason. I'm trying to do something with the enunciation. I'm trying to do something. Anyway, I thought this was great in terms of just getting us back into this world. I know for me personally, when I was starting season 1, it was more of a slow build. This was we're back. We're being thrown back into this world. We're catching up on the characters as well, introducing all these new characters, these new players. that will continue to be involved in like the bigger mystery of like who killed the rich dude, like what's going on. Because like, there's a lot of, open threads that we have yet to know, and there's a lot of open threads that we've yet to see. So that remains for me on curiosity to see where things are going to go from there. I think once again, I think the new team definitely is doing something a bit different with Perry Mason. It doesn't feel like season 1 again. It still feels like the same characters just thrown into like, this new story, which definitely is exactly what they need to do to like keep the fans going. Because again, like, so soon a new turnover, like not all the time does it work out. So far it's working out pretty well. I was a bit concerned about some stuff in the beginning, but it got rectified towards the end. But yeah, and also it was kind of weird for me, like that the decision to kill off the mom from last season via a note suicide. And I'm guessing the actress came back to do some voiceover for the letter she wrote, which is still pretty cool to see. But like, it kind of sucks, like, like it had to happen. It makes sense, but it still sucks that it had to happen that way. But no, I'm very excited to see where things are gonna go. I think all the characters are like back and ready to roll. Like they're still intriguing as ever, and I can't wait to see how does Perry and the others like loop themselves into this new mystery. That's what I'm really curious about to see, and I can't wait to see how things are gonna progress. So with that being said, I'm giving the season 2 premiere of Perry Mason 2 thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this premiere episode for Perry Mason. Are you happy it's bad? Are you happy it's not? Are you not happy that it's bad? Comment down below. Let's have a conversation about it as always. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So I know where there's been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the second season of Perry Mason. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Two besides our Perry Mason episode reviews. Right now, later this week, we have a Good Doctor's quick impression coming out. We also have our Walker Independence ending shows coming out with season 2 predictions and a season 1 review. But if you don't care about Perry Mason, you're in luck. We'll be back for the next 7 weeks. Talking about more Perry Mason, talking about more about this world, more episode reviews to come, so stay tuned for that. So we'll be back next week for another bright episode review. But until then, again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to us if you have not yet. Like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring the bell for notifications, as well as follow us on social media. But until we see each other again, for all you Masoners out there, thank you so much for watching. It's good to be back after so long, but here we are, ready to go. But until we see each other again, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.